Welcome to the DMI What's Up Downtown Breakfast. Sorry to interrupt. So many great conversations. It's so good to see you back live. Boy, there is an energy in this room. I'm not putting that down onto me. I'm going to put that completely on to the Reverend Dr. Alex G. and this amazing project we're going to hear about. I'm Jason Elster, president of Downtown Madison Inc. It's wonderful to see you all in person. And boy, it's amazing what a 40-degree warm-up feels like this morning. At 21 degrees, what was it, minus 18? Yes. I'm from Minneapolis. I moved here to be warm. What did you guys do to me here in Wisconsin? Thank you very much to all of you for joining us. Thank you to the Edgewater Hotel, Amy Supple and the team. We are so excited to be back. We're back here for another year of lots of great presentations coming up. But we are starting off with a big one here today. The Reverend Dr. Alex G. will be presenting on the Center for Black Excellence and Culture here in just a few minutes. We are so excited for this game-changing project, which is so close to downtown and a hub of so much activity happening on the South Side with Madison College, with Dr. Anthony, our board members, amazing Black Business Hub, just so many amazing projects happening, the Alliant Energy Center, and all the connections of the Lake Winona waterfront. We cannot wait to hear about this important project from Dr. G. All right, but we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for our members, and we have a lot of new members. This is not down to my hard work. This is down to the hard work of Megan and Brian Lee, our board members who head up membership, and our new development director, Heather Stetzer, who's in the back of the room. Hello, Heather, wave. Hello, sorry, camera person. We got over 100 people on Zoom, so I promise you, people on Zoom worldwide, Heather is here live. All right, speaking of architecture, we have AIA Wisconsin is a new member right here, right off the Capitol Square. They're represented by Lisa Kennedy. Burns McDonnell Engineering Company, represented by Ryan Stark. Chrysalis Inc., represented by Dana Rischel. Javon's Lawn Care by Javon Montgomery, and I know Javon is here. Welcome, Javon. Welcome. Yes. We also have Kilter with Seth Braddock, Middleton Chamber of Commerce, our great friends out in Middleton with Kate Miller, the Huntington National Bank with David Braun, and VJS Construction Services with Aranda Bushi, building a project right on West Washington as we speak. So thank you to all of our members, and thank you for joining us here today. We welcome you, and we look forward to seeing you at an event, live, in person, hybrid, all of the above, coming soon here in 2022. All right. Next, it is my privilege and honor to welcome my boss. She hates when I say that, but the board co-chair of DMI this year. This is her second year as chair of the organization. We are in amazing hands with Megan Jarabek, shareholder from Von Briesen, an amazing attorney and an even better board chair. And she's going to welcome our great new board we have in 2022. Megan?
Thank you. Welcome to everybody in person. Thrilled to have you here. Thrilled to be starting a new year. So to catch you all up to speed, some of you might remember that last year, DMI, I almost said Von Briesen. I'm here for DMI today, everybody. DMI decided to split its chairship of the board. There's lots of great board members. There's lots of great projects going on downtown. And so we split that chairship into co-chairs. I was co-chair last year with Nathan from Reinhardt, and this year, I am pleased to welcome my new co-chair, Mark Richardson from Unfinished Business. He and I will be your co-chairs of the board this year, and we're really looking forward to it. We met last week to talk about kind of what we saw for the future this year and what we wanted to do. And one thing became clear: we take what we do very seriously, but we do not take ourselves all that seriously. So we're looking forward to a year of fun and of energy and of support for downtown. So welcome to Mark, and thank you for serving. That means that the vice chair position is also open, and we welcome Margaret Watson, longtime DMI member from Steve Brown Apartments. We're thrilled to have her in that vice chair position this year. Also, we have two other positions open that we had people move into. Angie Black moved into our secretary position, and Anita Muhammad, who was in our treasurer position last year, remains in that position this year. So welcome to all of those. We're thrilled to have their time and talent to help bring DMI forward. We also have have a board of 50 members. We had about 8 positions open on that board, and we did fill all 8 this year to bring us back up to 50. We're thrilled about all the new board members. We announced them officially in December, and this month we officially welcome them to the board. So they're on the screen, but they are David Braun from Huntington National Bank, Baltazar Deanda Santana from Latino Academy of Workforce Development, Dan Kennelly from Quad Capital Partners, Nora Rogan-Schmidt from Starting Block Madison, our very own Amy Supple here in the room from the Edgewater, Aaliyah Stevenson from the Foundation of Black Women's Wellness, Carla Tennis from Porchlight, Dr. Linda Vakuta from the City of Madison Mayor's Office as an ex officio member, and Ellie Westman Chin. I think I did it without mispronouncing anybody's name. Pretty proud of myself about that. From Destination Madison. So welcome to all those board members. We are thrilled to have you and appreciate, again, all of the volunteer hours that you put into helping to support our downtown. So welcome. We're looking forward to the year. If there's anything that we can do for you, please let us know. We're happy to help.
Thank you very much, Megan, and a personal thank you from the staff. We ask a lot of our 50 board members and a lot of time. Kelly and many other former board members, Ann is here today. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all you do for our organization. Another thank you is to our sponsors who help make sure that the trains run on time. We have a great series of sponsors this year for the What's Up Downtown series. We have Ho Chunk Gaming, Madison, Michael Best and Friedrich, the State Bank of Cross Plains, UW Health, Unity Point Health, Meritor, Quartz, and our great friends at the Edgewater Hotel. A huge thank you to all of our sponsors. You all make this possible. All right. Speaking of partners, we have a great monthly partner for this series today. We want to recognize our great friends at JLA Architects who are helping with this amazing project. And we have been just working with JLA for so many years, and we're excited to bring up Joe Lee, the owner of JLA Architects, here to the stage. But I just want to say a huge thanks to JLA personally. They are doing some game-changing projects, including this one, including the Salvation Army campus on the 700 block or 800 block? 600 block. I should know the 100 blocks at this point of downtown 4 years into this. The 600 block of West Washington, truly a game-changing, purpose-built women and family shelter. So thank you for that work. And I want to say a personal thank you to Rafiq Assad for his amazing work with NOMA, the National Organization of Minority Architects. And DMI has been great to partner with them on an event last year. Thanks to Ann for hosting the space as well, at the beautiful space at ULI. We hope to have more in the future with you all. No worry, good. He says yes to those that are watching on Zoom. So it's my privilege to welcome Joe Lee, owner of JLA Architects, to the stage.
Great, thank you. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. That was a great, thank you for that introduction. Very humbling, very great. I'm Joe Lee, owner of JLA. Great to see so many people here in person, and I know there's a number of people online, so good morning to you as well, even though I can't see your smiling faces there at home or wherever you may be. I'd like to acknowledge those on our team that are here today and online. There's helping represent JLA today and supporting our good client, Alex, and his team. First of all, Sarah Fegri, she's our Director of Marketing. Mark Ott, he's our VP of and Director of Quality Control and one of our good project managers. He's managing the Salvation Army, as long as we mentioned that. Rafiq Assad, one of our other VPs, and he's also the Director of our Team Development and also one of our talented designers. And to his left is Andy Chitwood, one of our experienced project managers, and I believe online joining us today is another talented designer, Kate Terrian, who has also been involved with this project as well. So thank you guys for coming and supporting us. Without them, you know, and others at our firm, we wouldn't be where we are today. So thank you. For those that don't know much about us, we're a full service architectural firm. We are headquartered in Madison. I'm a Madison native, but we have evolved and grown over the past 15 years. We have 3 offices, one in, our home office in Madison. We have an office in Milwaukee, and we also have an office in Denver, Colorado. You may know us mostly for our mixed-use multifamily projects, but what I'm really proud of is how we're expanding in other markets and helping other clients in some of the great projects we've been able to work on over the last 15 years. We've done sports centers like the Sun Prairie Ice Arena. We were involved with the Imagination Center from the City of Madison, the new library that was just announced in the paper. That's going to be on the east side at Rindall Park. We're involved with the Urban League and their business hub on South Park Street, and many others. But what we're here today to talk about, and I'm so proud to be a part of, is Alex's project and the Center for Black Excellence and Culture. I remember when I met Alex, I go back on my Outlook calendar and see when that was. That was over 3 years ago in 2018. And when I met him, he explained what his vision was, not only for his piece of land and this potential project, but how he viewed the future of the city of Madison. And he did this with such conviction and such a genuine passion. It really inspired me, and I wanted our team to be involved. So ever since that day, we've been helping Alex as we can, help him develop his vision. And I'm so glad that we're here today and he can share that with everybody here and online, and just hopefully you guys can be inspired like I was 3 years ago. So thanks, Alex, for giving us the trust and having faith in our team and allowing us to be part of this great project. So thank you.
Thank you, Ed, Joe. Really, you all are building some amazing civic spaces here with the Imagination Center, the Center for Black Excellence and Culture, the purpose-built shelter, and you're making sure we can all play hockey in Sun Prairie. Boy, my Minnesota accent came out there. Sorry, folks. There, play some hockey. The game's won in the corners. You got to get to the corners. Got to forecheck a little harder. I've heard that a few times from coaches. I was a little lazy on the hockey rink. Never very good. Now that you all know that, speaking of I was not inspiring on the hockey rink, but someone that is inspiring, as Joe just said, is the Reverend Dr. Alex G. We are here today to hear from Dr. G. He was a lifelong Madison resident. He's the founder and CEO of the Nehemiah Center of Urban Leadership, the creator of the Justified Anger Black History for a New Day course, pastor at the Fountain of Life Church, and the host of the podcast Black Like Me. For over 30 years, Dr. G has harnessed the power of entrepreneurism and community building to advance Black solutions. The Center for Black Excellence and Culture is a culmination of listening to the Black community and fulfilling his lifelong work's challenges and structures that impede the diversity and advance Black prosperity. We are so pleased to have Dr. G here with us this morning to talk about this exciting project, the Center for Black Excellence and Culture, which will transform our entire community. Following the presentation, we do have the ability for everyone to ask questions, since we have tons of people online. Please go to menti.com to submit your question. There'll be a menti.com link shown in the feed as well. All right, before we get to Dr. G, sounds like we have the first ever release of an amazing video. I heard this is the worldwide, it's like Sundance here, or we'll go with Cannes. Cannes a lot warmer right now, of an amazing video on this project. Here we go.
Imagine a place where our children are developed as leaders. Imagine a place where adults who are social innovators want to create space to change their community. Imagine a space that the Black community owns and utilizes as a place for strengthening our voice and our impact on this community. The center is such a good investment in our community because it really is forward thinking. We will gather some of the best and brightest Black minds from around the state, the region, maybe even the country, who can speak to issues of inclusion, diversity, recruitment, hiring, retention. This has an economic impact. It's going to make people want to live here and buy homes here and send their children to school here.
one of the things that I see that's lacking in the community is opportunity to keep great talent here. We know businesses do better when they're more diverse. And if people feel like this is a place that they can call home, that they can relate to, that they feel part of, I think that would give them more reasons to stay.
The center is going to be an amazing space for holistic healing. Many people think when you talk about health, you're just talking about your physical health, but really it's more than that. It also is going to have so many health implications for one's mental health, social and emotional health, spiritual health, and physical health as well. This center is so important, not just to make us feel good, but it's actually going to help prolong our lives, increase our quality of life, decrease some of the health inequities that we see in our community.
The impact is going to be transformative. I think about my kiddos and some of the seniors, it's going to be a multi-generational impact that we're going to have in the city. I don't think it's only going to be amazing for Black folks. I think it's going to be amazing for all of Madison.
People in this community know what our biggest challenge is. It's making this community fair for everyone, successful for everyone. This center is going to change the community itself. It's the first project in 50 years that I've seen where the broader community is saying, Black community, you lead, we're going to get in behind you and we're going to make this happen. So if you've ever been inclined to join and help this effort, now is the time to do it. And we need not just the leaders, but our entire community to step up and make this important center happen.
The Center for Black Excellence and Culture has already made history. And so we need the broader community to think big. What story do we want to tell 10 years from now? Let's build a center that is life-altering, that is transformational, that allows all of us to thrive and do well and feel at home.
Wow. Wow. That is a way to start here today. Oh boy. Oh my goodness. I did it. Okay, the slideshow is back. That was a great accomplishment. Now, if that was not an inspiring way to start, we are so thrilled at Downtown Madison, Inc. to welcome our great friend, the Reverend Dr. Alex G.
Good morning, everyone. It's great to be here, and it's great to see you all. And I want to give a special welcome to those who are participating online as well. This is only the second time that I've viewed this video, and it brings up such an emotional response. And so I'm very excited to be able to talk about this today and even entertain questions. I want to just first of all give a special shout out just to the team of people who have helped this to happen, not the least of which is the team from JLA. And I know that Joe Lee got a chance to introduce his team, but I want to say to you all, I appreciate you hearing my voice and my heart and dreaming this up. And Rafiq, I really want to show my appreciation to you for helping to materialize what the Black aesthetic is. And so I just want to just say thanks again. My colleague Jim Bauer is here also, who serves as my project manager, and others who are watching. I've typically only interacted with Jason in the afternoon, so I didn't know that he had that same level of energy in the morning. And so that gentleman is the personification of the Energizer Bunny. And so I don't know if you just shoot coffee into your veins or what, young man, but man, I laud you for that. Let me just start with just a few comments before I walk through the slide presentation. And I said this to a group of people when I walked in this morning. I'm a proud Madisonian, and my family moved here over 50 years ago because my mother was looking for a better way of life. She had grown up on the west side of Chicago, and Madison just embraced her. We lived in the Titty Park area before moving to the south side of Madison, and the community helped her to get into the university and get the resources she needed to create a life for us. And so what I do is not out of selfish ambition, although I get a lot of kudos and a lot of joy out of what I do, but it's really a way of giving back, because even as my mom struggles with Alzheimer's today, the services that she receives at UW Hospital, it makes me think it was the university that drew her here. And even in her 80s, she is still benefiting, and her quality of life is enhanced because of this community. So much of what I do, even on cold mornings like this, what keeps me coming back is understanding that I want to make a community that invested in my life as good as it can be. Downtown, true Madisonians, when I was a kid, referred to it as the square, had theaters. My mother was a shopaholic, and so I remember spending years in places like Manchester's and Wolf Kubli and Hersik, and there are art galleries and gathering space, and no place else in Madison made you feel more Madisonian than being at Farmers Market on a Saturday morning. Downtown civic life reinforced the meaning and the significance of what it meant to be Madisonian. With the evolution of malls, we created great spaces for people watching and maybe even dating opportunities, because I came of age in the late 70s, early 80s. However, malls did not offer a transcendent view of what it meant to embody Madisonian culture. In fact, it sterilized our culture and made us look like any other community. Then eventually there was a movement back downtown where our stories were told, our perseverance was preserved, and our identity was idealized. The Overture Center for the Arts was a part of that. I remember when it was the Civic Center, and it was central to the rebuilding of downtown. Black people have called Madison home for over a century. We purchased produce at farmers markets. We've graduated from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. We have sung varsity. We proudly worn red. We've even worn cheesehead caps. At the chagrin of many of our family members. But none of these reflect the true nature of our ageless culture, creative perseverance, and our tireless contributions to this community and this state. Still, we don't feel at home because no one's made us feel at home. We neglected our culture during integration, but we sadly discovered that our history nor our powerful transcendent stories were ever integrated into schools. The Black Center for Excellence in Culture is going to change that by offering solutions and putting our culture and its celebration on front stage. As business leaders, we all have this in common. We listen to our constituents and our customers. My customers and constituents are the Black citizens of this community, and they've spoken, and my team has listened. And hundreds of them have told us over the years and the decades what they want. And they've said, we want a place where our children are seen and developed as leaders and not problems to be solved. We want a place to thrive and not merely survive, and a place where our beautiful and triumphant stories can finally take center stage without apology or without characterization. A place to remind everyone that our investment has been in Madison, not Black Madison. And we want Madison to feel like home to our kids as well. And so the response of listening to hundreds of Black citizens over the decades, whether it was as an advisor at the university for years when I did that, or as a pastor, or even in our listening sessions the last 3 years, folks have told us we want a place that reflects our culture and contributions back to us, the way downtown art centers and cultural centers and galleries have done for the predominant culture for years. And so I want to walk you through this, what this looks like. Already stated this, but the signature word here is the word thrive. Often when we discuss problems or issues facing the Black community in Madison, the word survive comes up, and that's repulsive to us because we want to do more than that. We want to thrive, and we're noticing that our children who are born at St. Mary's Hospital, UW Hospital, don't call Madison at home. They have the wherewithal to navigate Madison because they've always lived in spaces where they were the ethnic minorities. And so they have the wherewithal to be able to do this, but yet they're choosing to call Raleigh, North Carolina, Atlanta, Dallas home. And so we're experiencing this great brain drain. But what we're also noticing is that their parents and their grandparents are leaving also. In this country, we're experiencing the greatest migration of Black people from the North to the South in U.S. history. And Wisconsin is certainly leading the way in that reverse migration. I believe that we can stop it. We're losing the talent, and that affects each of our businesses, and it's affecting the workplace diversity. Recruitment is not our issue. Retention is our issue. And our competition is not just with the business down the street, but our competition is really with civic and cultural life at 5 o'clock when people get off work. One of the things that one of our advisors, Ray Allen, says is that leaders aren't just groomed, but they're developed. And one of the signature purposes of our space is that we will develop and groom leaders. When I came of age in the early 80s, and friends introduced me to funding sources and business leaders, when I had this idea of creating this Nehemiah Community Development Corporation, they introduced me to people at the Community Foundation. They talked me into joining Downtown Rotary. They told me to join the Madison Club because they said as a young Black 20-something-year-old nonprofit executive, you need to show white business leaders that you are not intimidated by them or their spaces. Just 2 years ago, I rotated off the board at the Madison Club, and I was a trembling 20-something-year-old trying to find my way around the space. Mentoring and access to leaders transformed me. Nehemiah will turn 30 years old this fall, and I still remember lessons that Bob Cook from American Family Insurance, Bob Gorsuch, who was the president of Park Bank and my boss, Doug and Norma Matson, Susan Phillips, and Jane Coleman. They took me under their wings. I'm not sure that young 20-something-year-old Black leaders or white leaders or male or female leaders have access to some of the community's best and brightest minds. I did, and for that reason, I'm still here. We want to replicate that. We want to bring these business leaders together and connect them with leaders who don't just want to start businesses, but they want to be social innovators the way I want it to be. There's so many things that will make this project or has made this project so unique. But I would say one of the greatest things is that it's been led by and for the Black community. That's not to be to sound exclusive, but it's to sound celebratory. Most things that exist for Black people in this community were not created by Black people. So when we don't show up for them, it sounds like we're ungrateful, and we don't want to come up. But the truth of the matter is we've had very little opportunities to be able to create solutions for ourselves. And so every aspect of this has been shaped, even from the initial donations to the people that have spoken into this, Black physicians, Black nurses, Black tenured faculty, formerly incarcerated folks, single moms. They have spoken into this project, and that's what makes it so beautiful. People often ask, and rightfully so, tell me about the programs that are going to happen inside this space. And we can talk about that ad nauseum. But one of the things that I want us to understand is when we experience something that we've never experienced, and that is the opportunity to be in space that is free from microaggressions, which we now know lead to a shortened lifespan for Black people and people of color. Healing takes place and the space to innovate and mentor and gather and leading. So regardless of what programs we set up, and we're designing those and can talk about them, they dull in comparison to the projects and the programs that are going to evolve when sororities and fraternities and other community-based organizations and their leaders are in the same space saying, what if we do this? Or how about, or wouldn't it be cool if we replicated what we saw in Philly? And so part of the secret sauce and the magic of the space is that we get to come together unapologetically and to dream up solutions and not just regurgitate the problems. It doesn't take much intellect to state and restate the problems in our community, but it takes innovation to think about solutions that will galvanize us so that we can work together. The three major pillars in this space will be leadership and innovation. It'll be history, culture, and gatherings, and performance and arts. These all lead to promoting Black wellness. On February 15th, I'm giving a joint presentation with the department chair of family medicine with the university hospitals. I think they're also referring to themselves as integrative health, because they've been doing research for the Veterans Administration to prove that the very programmatic aspects of the center lead to longer life. And so we're going to be presenting today. He'll be presenting medical data. I'll be talking about more anecdotal data and cultural information. But what he is showing is that when people have a place to go to experience transcendence, to dream and live beyond their bounds, and to talk about economic freedom, and to talk about their dreams and their hopes and their aspirations, and to reinforce their cultures and to give them spiritual renovation. And I don't mean that in a religious or sectarian manner, but I mean what happens when we go to an art gallery or we listen to beautiful music, that those things enhance the quality of life. And so we are presenting together to show that the very programmatic aspects of the center will not only be beautiful and appealing and aesthetically adorable, but they will help us to live longer lives, because the City of Madison and the Common Council have adopted the fact that microaggressions lead to stress in Black people and people of color that have become social determinants of health. And so now what we have understood is that living in Madison and navigating waters that are predominantly white now have health risks. And so one of the questions I've been asking business leaders is, as you think of your compensation plans for inviting Black people to our community, how much are you willing to pay Black people to move here and languish? Because that's what's happening, hence the reverse migration. It's in the heart of South Madison. We're sitting on 6 acres. It'll be a 65,000 square foot facility. We'll have 3 major levels that will be absolutely beautiful. The lower level will focus on arts and performances. There'll be space for set design and art production that will bring people together. One of the multicultural purpose spaces will hold 250 people. And what I didn't realize is that we have scores of Black playwrights and actors and designers in this community who have been waiting for this opportunity to help tell our stories. The main level will give us an opportunity to focus on intergenerational interaction. So we will have space for middle school, high school, and college students. We're working with the University of Wisconsin-Madison because they're struggling. My alma mater, they're struggling to maintain Black students and students of color because they don't have connections with the broader community. They don't feel a sense of home, so they go back home or transfer to other schools. Then the upper level will be a place for our center for on the main level, there's also space for our senior center because we want to make sure that seniors and kids are interacting with each other. On the upper level, there's space for the Center for Black Innovation and Leadership, where we will not only bring together Black creative minds and people who want to harness their intellectual property and their dreams for social innovation, but I will bring my social network to the table as well. So business leaders and accountants and social media experts to help these folks create a gig economy that will lift them and help them to be able to have disposable income that will mean the difference between buying a house or not, or sending their kids to college or not. And I'm very excited about that because it's important for us to create solutions that we work on together. And so I'm inviting people that I've gotten to know over the years who are not in the African American community, have been longing to help these individuals build a brighter future for us all. I love this inside space, JLA. I absolutely love it. When you look at this space right at the top, that's the lobby when you walk in. Going clockwise, this is inside the private lounge up on the 3rd floor. I love the fact that Rafik and Team JLA have included furniture designed by Black furniture makers, because in this project, we want to show that not only are we celebrating the Black aesthetic and Black cultural contributions, but doing work with Black-owned businesses in order to share the wealth, so to speak. As you come down on this side, this is the outside portion of the space that overlooks the Beltline towards the southwest. We can have private weddings, receptions. We can entertain dignitaries when they come to our community in space where they can see and interact with our community. And then the bottom left space is the multi-purpose theater. What I love about that is that it's 250 seats. And so we can have book readings, recitals, lectures, plays, concerts. A screen will drop out of the ceiling so we can have film festivals. And with the push of a button, the seats will retract. And so we can have banquets there as well. Nothing like that. That kind of space does not exist in our community for putting our events on front stage. We have an 80+ page business plan to show that we understand what it takes to staff this model, the program plan, the operational plan, the operational reserves. But also, I want to point out the fact that in building the business plan, we've listened to hundreds of Black community leaders, and 91% of them have said that the number one need is gathering and meeting space because they see that as the highest priority. Annual operating budget of about $2 million, but the square in the middle talks about our anticipated usage. 8,100 event attendees, 4,800 seniors, 175 people in the co-working space, 2,000 recording studio hours. We have a very illustrious and diverse capital campaign team. We've called some people out of retirement, like the Honorable Francis Huntley Cooper and Neil Heinen and Al Fish, and I had to twist George Austin's arm, and others, just to Marla Frank and Kim Spanum and others who have said this is good for our community, who have said we are now understanding that if we want to retain and recruit a more diverse staff, they've got to love being in Madison. And we have to do our part in making sure that we're not just focused on the culture of our organization, but the culture of our community. And that's the reason I use the Overture example, because I watched how it changed the culture of downtown. I watched housing come back. I watched restaurants come back. That was the case when I was a kid. We wanted cultural, that's where we went. That's where we ate. Downtown was special. We watched that come back. In the same way, the center is going to cause cultural renewal. I just love that we're inspiring leadership from the Black community, and that people have not given up on Madison, who may at times feel that Madison's given up on them or our community, but 50+ Black community members stood with me in support at our press conference, and over 300 donors, Black donors, and their honorees kicked off our fundraising efforts. We are now over $10 million. I didn't even know that 8 figures was a real thing. In running a small nonprofit like Nehemiah, we don't deal in numbers like this. And so I am elated, not just that we've raised it, but that this community has shared it, that without guilt or cajoling, people have looked and people's worldviews have changed. Their loved ones have married, adopted, and built strong relationships with people of other ethnic backgrounds. And they're realizing that this isn't just something that's happening in someone else's backyard, but it's happening in their own family reunions, in their own family tree. And they're saying, we want to be part of the solution. At first, when I looked at the capital campaign figure of $36, I gulped and I staggered a bit. But my colleague, Jim Bauer, reminded me this is commensurate with the problem. If you look at the resource that we put into trying to fix this issue to no avail, and we are still seen as one of the most uninviting and racially segregated communities in the country, compared to our white counterparts, it makes us think, how can we put resources together to build solutions? And so I'm very excited about this. American Family Insurance, Summit Credit Union, CUNA Credit Union, Representative Mark Pocan has put us in earmarks, and that's supported by Tammy Baldwin. And you all can see these things. I don't have to read them, but I just feel very, very honored that the community is responding to not just me or my vision, but to the voice and the needs of the Black community, who considers themselves very Madisonian as well. So this is a great moment, and I want to invite you all, DMI and you as individual members, I'm a new member of DMI, to join with the Black community. Together we'll move forward, because as this space is created, when we have the plays and the concerts and the lectures, the broader community will be invited to come in and to hear our stories from our perspective, to hear about our transcendence from our perspective. And that's what we want. We want you to understand that we have influenced world culture and not just Madisonian culture. And we want to invite the community in to do that. We have talked with administrators and teachers across South Central Wisconsin. And there is an interest in bringing students in to experience a half-day field trip to learn about the contributions of Black people in Wisconsin. Can you imagine that we can do something together today that will squelch the racial divide, that the things that our grandparents and parents didn't put to rest, we can for our children. And our children can come and learn about the positive aspects of the contributions of Black people in this state, region, and nation in a way that endears them to that history and realize that that history is theirs as well. This isn't just a set of programs, it's a major solution to creating a more harmonious Madison that will have an impact in economic, cultural, and otherwise on this broader community. And I can't wait for us to celebrate this together and to give Madison a different reputation nationwide, that we are a community that looked at our issues dead in the eyes and we worked together to solve them. Thank you all so much for this time and this space this morning.
That was absolutely inspirational. Every time I hear you speak, I learn so much about our community, and most importantly, I learn more about myself and how to be a better human. So thank you, Dr. G. It's an absolute honor to be a friend of yours. One thing you said that struck me today is it takes innovation to find solutions. I think that is a very profound comment. In Madison, we pride ourselves on innovation, but we haven't innovated for the solutions we need for many parts of our community. How can DMI help with the innovation to find solutions for the Center for Black Excellence in Culture?
That's a great question, Jason. This is actually easier than we think, folks. We have tried to create solutions. But if we don't listen to our customers, this is how each of us this is how we run our businesses. But when it comes to cross-cultural issues and relationships, we don't listen to the customer. We don't listen to those most impacted. We just say, oh, I know what you need. I know what you need. And so our innovation has caused us to not only listen to, but involve the community in solutions, because when you shape solutions, you make sure that they work. It's like when you try a new recipe, if no one else in the house eats it, you're going to, because you made it. And so it's that the same is true for culture. And so I feel that what Downtown Madison Inc. can do is listen to the community, listen to what has been our experiences, and understand that we're not trying to create a separate reality. I mean, I tried to really accentuate a point that as Black leaders, we don't get together and say, we've been leaders in the Black community. When you look at Ray Allen and Francis Huntley Cooper and Kirby Mack and Jeff Mack and myself and others, we don't look in the mirror and say, now there's a Black leader. I studied leadership. I didn't study Black leadership in grad school. And so our investment has been in the broader community. And so our solutions are not just Black focused, although it's Black oriented, because we think that's part of the solution. It is to benefit the entire community. So I think what our innovation should lead us to do is listen more closely to the client and to the customer. And they make it much easier because they tell us what it takes to make them feel at home. And all I'm doing is regurgitating what Black folks have been telling me for decades.
If anyone has questions on Zoom, you can send your questions in through minty.com. If you're in the room, let's go back to the old school raising of hands. So I'm going to take me a second here. These stairs are treacherous. Here I come. We got one question while we're getting there though, Dr. G. What's the confluence of these just incredible projects right now happening in South Madison? Dr. Anthony's Black Business Hub, your amazing center, Dr. Daniel's South Madison campus, just so much activity. And then the connection between that and the Orion Energy Center campus and how we can bring this arc into downtown of this really could be amazing space.
You know, I think I can answer that by saying, as a person who has lived, worked, or owned property in South Madison for the last 50 years, it's about time. And so I'm very excited about that. And I don't think the confluence, Jason, is very difficult to understand. Let's look at the East Capitol District. Let's look at East Washington, Festival Foods, and you've got the Sylvie, and then you got restaurants. They all help each other. They all build each other. It's culture and it's business. That's the way downtown is. And so I think what we can do to help is to not think that any of these things are in competition with each other or extraneous. We see blocks and blocks and blocks of innovation in East Washington, and it's created a new destination for Madison. That South Corridor, that biomedical corridor from the Beltline to campus, that Park Street corridor has been central to the Black community as long as I've been in Madison. And so we are probably the last entity to to the show or to the dinner, whatever I'm getting my analogies mixed up. But for those of us that have worked and invested or been based in that community, because it was difficult years ago to live in others, it's about time to see that level of innovation. So I think that it's beautiful. And I think South Madison deserves the same opportunities, the same resources, and the same celebration as all of the other beautiful corridors that have been invested in this community. And that by developing that, it shortens the connection between South Madison and downtown.
Wow, thank you very much. Next question is from Susan Schmidt.
Thank you, Dr. Jean. Thank you for all that you're doing, and congratulations on what looks like something very successful. I did want to ask you, you mentioned about Black culture in the state of Wisconsin. And so are you working at all with the State Historical Society on making sure that this is well presented in the new museum?
We are working with UW-Madison's African American History Department. We have connections at the State Historical Society and Historical Center. So yes, definitely, because we want to learn from them. And we also have some things we want to teach them about how we tell this story as well. But we have no desire to reinvent any wheel or to step on any toes. We want to work together with any partner that wants to help us to promote Black transcendence.
Well, I could ask questions all day long. Anyone else have questions? Yeah, oh, of course, it's got to be the farthest person in the room. Yes, ESPN Radio, you're making me run.
Can you just talk a little bit about the timeline of the project?
Sure, that's a great question. We are on target for raising all of the funds that we need by the end of this year, 2022. It's still strange saying 2022, with plans to break ground either late this year or early next year. And it's just important to understand, and it sounds funny as a fundraiser to say this, all we have left to do is to raise the rest of the money. People think that that's the hardest part. No, galvanizing the community, getting consensus, getting a name, getting a design, having listening sessions, having that first $1 million, the second $1 million, those are the hard pieces of it. And now what we're finding is a positive dominoes effect. And I'm a bit impatient because I'm watching this migration away from Wisconsin, and I'm wanting to woo people back here. When my mother had a good experience at Wisconsin, she went and brought her sisters and her brothers and their kids here. So my family has 13 degrees from UW-Madison, undergraduate and graduate degree, 16 from UW system. But it's because when Black people had a good experience, they went and told their families, come here, there's opportunities, there's jobs, you can get into college, you can do these things. And so because I feel like I'm the beneficiary of Madison when it embraces its new families, I want to hurry up and put that back out for the community, because I think we sort of unwittingly removed that welcome mat and we've lost talent. I consider myself sharp, but I'm not an exception, which means when people hear me talk and share my vision, you have to consider 8 people like me have left Madison because they didn't think that they could have the opportunities or didn't have access to the mentors that I did. And so I feel that we've got to get this going right away so that we don't lose any more beautiful talent and we can make this community truly wonderful for everyone.
Next question over here from Gary Peterson.
My glasses are full. What I wanted to ask you, I'm not sure you said a lot about food, and I was wondering, Madison's going to be getting into a community market. Would this be something that would support your efforts?
I certainly hope that it will and that it can. We will have kitchen space in it so that we can work with entrepreneurs who want to create catering businesses. We're probably not leaning towards creating all of that in-house, but there are enough independent Black caterers who would love to work with this kind of space. But at this point, we are willing to partner with folks who understand our vision and who would love to see an investment in our community. So I hope I'm answering your question.
And the community market that's right now slated on the east side, how would that fit in with your community? And to be honest with you, maybe the one on the east side's in the wrong place.
Oh, You're not going to get me into that discussion. That's almost as bad as the Edgewood development discussion. I'm not getting into that. I will say this. Various communities have their areas of focus, and my community lives near where that market is going to be. And so the beauty of Madison is that it is not forced people of color to live in one neighborhood. That's one of the things that drew my mother here, that we were not ghettoized to only live in one space. People who live in South Madison chose to because we love the diversity of that community. So we've certainly supported. I'm not really in a position to say how that's going to help us and how we're going to help it, but I will tell you this, anything that we do to make Madison more accessible and more enjoyable and more equitable helps the entire community, and I'm really for that. But there are so many projects out there that's going on that it's hard to discuss with clear articulation what that would be like. But I would tell you my big challenge right now is that I want to stop the gentrification that I'm witnessing in South Madison, that I'm wanting to show with partnerships that's happening in the community that the community where I grew up, Villager Mall is where I shopped. My mom went to Joann Fabrics there. Kroger Food Store was there. I bowled there. Ben Franklin Renabomb's was there. Walgreens was Mark's Big Boy. Burger King was Country Kitchen. There's B. Dalton Steakhouse on top of Badger Road. We could walk to 3 supermarkets. And so there's a pride that's there. And folks, not just Black folks, but folks in Madison with bated breath have been waiting to see for the glory day of South Madison. To come back. And so we love the idea of partnering with other communities that are not necessarily contiguous with ours or to ours. But what we really want to see is that corridor between the Beltline and campus is beautified and that Black and brown people are not left out of this great opportunity. But the gentrification that's taking place, we're trying to put a stake in the ground and say, not on our watch. We want to make sure that this community stays viable, diverse, and affordable. And so that's why we're all excited about putting our work there. Our partnership is really around the state. So I've got to think about how we connect with East Washington as much as we do how we connect with Beloit and Milwaukee and Waukesha, Wausau. And so because this is really a statewide and regional draw, we have to look at strategic partnerships all around the state.
Another round of applause for the inspiring Reverend Dr. Alex G. and the Center for Black Excellence. Dr. G, know that everyone at DMI, we are here to help in any and every way we can. Thank you all very much for joining us here today. We are going to be back next month in exactly a month's time with Matt Wachter, the Director of Planning, Community, and Economic Development for the City of Madison here in February. We also do have one other important event here 1 week from today from 4 to 6 on Thursday, February 3rd. It's our next New Faces, New Places. We're going to do something a little different. We have a panel discussion on the importance of the lakes to downtown, a huge subject right now, and how we can make the connection, honestly, to the south side and through the John Nolan Causeway into downtown, into Law Park. Great panel discussion. Aaliyah Stevenson, James Ty, Eric Knapp, John Warner from Ho-Chunk, a great group. So see us next year from 4 to 6 right here at the Edgewater, a 1-hour panel discussion. And then we're just going to hang out and have fun and visit with each other in a good, safe way. So thank you for all of you for joining us today. Thank you for everyone online. I know we've had people across the nation. It was quite interesting to see the different people that were coming. You are a nationwide draw, Dr. G. So thank you as well to our sponsors, Ho-Chunk Gaming, Madison, Michael Best and Friedrich, the State Bank of Cross Plains, UW Health, Unity Point Courts, Meritor, the beautiful Edgewater Hotel. Thank you. And to our great friends at JLA Architects, thank you to the entire team for making these amazing projects happen in Madison. We'll see you all in an event soon. Hope you have a wonderful weekend and stay warm. See you later.